Radio a parlé, t'as parlé de t'as parlé de activités qui gagnent dans l'école là à 8h30. Sheila déjà présent ensemble avec nous. À 8h30, nous va passer à Sheila qui pourra aller parler nous de qui ça qui t'est passé. Parce que tout le monde, même moi, même monde pour me poser une question, pas même la même, mais il y a des gens qui me poser une question, moi, comment ça t'est et nous obliger et joindre une façon pour nous dire comment ça t'est. On a les émissions commencées là. Restez branchés ensemble avec nous 88.fm WGG.
L'amour qu'a fait stressé ni complexé. Quel que soit mon nouille, ça qu'arrive. Bien réfléchi pour tête ou pas parti. Bien calculé pour foyer ou pas craser. Imaginez ma bien travail. Moi réussi dans pile bagaille. Mais dans foyer ça pas marché. Ça vient rendre tout hanté. La caille moi c'est la pour ta bien. Pourtant c'est la moins plus chagrin. C'est comme si caille la hanté. Moi toujours quelqu'un sauté.
Faut mettre l'amour sous bosse.
Depuis où senti ou bouleversé.
Faut mettre l'amour sous bosse.
Depuis où senti ou a mal passé.
Faut mettre l'amour sous bosse.
Depuis c'est ça qu'a fait ou vivien.
Faut mettre l'amour sous bosse.
Solution, c'est le dossier. En vérité, gagnons la journée rivée. Si on prend la vie au sérieux, ça qu'a fait ou vivre heureux. Mais ça m'a fait endurer là. Moi-même tout me senti condamnable. Pas dit c'est l'autre qui est coupable. Comme pas tout me senti dans ça.
Moi fait un pile expérience. Moi pas avec moi une autre chance. La vie moi pas jamais rose. Moi mais l'amour s'oppose. Moi fait un pile expérience.
Aïe, moi fais un peu d'expérience.
Moi mais l'amour s'oppose.
Et comme d'habitude, n'a pas salué Fentia Dumeni, Fentia Dumeni qui déjà branché. Bonsoir Foufoune.
Sois Messi.
Bonsoir Jacqueline Maurice, bonsoir.
La Tropicana de Haïti.
Bonsoir Bello, bonsoir. Tout le monde qui déjà branché, nous saluons. Nous on dirait Radio Bonne Nouvelle.
Chérie, faut-il baisser? C'est là bon. Oh, ouais, madame, ou encore? Oh, pas chambre qu'on est.
appelle ça les Roselyne qui a écouté nous du côté d'Asbury Park.
Dans bonheur, moi, parti jamais. Moi, fait un peu d'expérience. Moi, pas vrai, moi, y'a pas de chance. La vie, moi, pas jamais rose. Moi, mais, l'amour s'oppose. Moi, fait un peu d'expérience. Moi, pas vrai, moi, y'a pas de chance. La vie, moi, pas jamais rose. Moi, mais, l'amour s'oppose.
Voilà, mesdames, messieurs, nous déjà gagné Sheila ensemble avec nous en dans station. Petite conversation on a fait, on a mis le live, on me ça, ce que ça veut dire. On a mis le live, on me ça, on a dit ensemble, parce que je regarde nous qui parler. Bonsoir Sheila.
Good evening.
Good evening. How's
Bonsoir.
everything? Good?
Everything is good.
Everything is good.
Yeah, everything is good. Well,
Yeah.
as good as it's getting right now.
That's Attendez, non, moi, quand pile monde qui a prélé, qui a posé une question, qui Jean réunion de meeting tout qui était supposé lundi, en pile monde qui a attendu là, yo intéressé qu'on est comment ça t'est passé.
Okay, so there's a few things that happen. I'll talk about the Haitian employees first. We had two people on the chopping block. We had Marilyn Lazier Boston, who does community activism. Like she engages the community and keeps them in touch with what the school's doing.
Okay.
You know, she's done prom dress drives. She's done book drives. She's gone to people's houses and helped them fill out paperwork. She's helped people find housing that's homeless, and not just for the Haitian community. She's done it for the Spanish community. She's done it for any parent that needed. She's engaged the children. So that's what she does. She makes sure that we in the community know what activities are going to happen before they happen. Because what was happening prior to her appointment is you'd get a flyer the day of. You know, she was calling, posting, and then she was attending events. She was representing the school district at different events. She lives far. She was coming up on weekends on her own time, no reimbursement, no time reimbursement. She was doing all of that to keep the community close to the school district. She had a good relationship with the people at the city. She had a good relationship with the parents. So she was on the chopping block. And then Cassandra, who is the only Creole-speaking social worker in the district, who has been there 21 years.
Nous parler de Cassandra Mon Plaisir, non?
Yes. No, if I won't please you. No. No, I forgot Cassandra's last name. I think it's Morris or something like that. She's married.
Okay.
Her brother's name is Jacques Pierre, so her last name might be Pierre.
Oh, she is a petit Jacques Pierre. Okay. I
Yes.
know. Oh, she's in the school too.
Yes, and she's a social worker. And what's important about her is there's something called a child study team. So if your child has any challenges, you might get an IEP, which is an individual education plan. So your child might need a one-on-one, like there's different things. And that has to be translated to the parents, right? In that IEP, there is special language that if you're not used to that, they can't just pull any teacher to go over that IEP and translate for the parent. So we had one solo social worker that spoke Creole, just one. Several people showed up. I really appreciated. I went up to the mic. I spoke. Zuba went up to the mic. She spoke. A couple of Haitian parents went up and spoke. I told them that I felt that the Haitian community was under attack.
Point blank.
You know, Reggie was gotten rid of. Chicken's gotten rid of, and then Cassandra's on the. So all the like high-ranking Haitians that are actually touching the community, you know, that are dealing with the community, they made sure that they got rid of them. We have a superintendent now who is highly capable of implementing instruction. I have to say that. Like, of the past superintendents, he is the most equipped to do that. But his social skills, his people skills, Not great. He's writing up people first and then asking questions later. There doesn't appear to be an attempt to do additional training. As far as I know, they got rid of Marilyn because she had a misspelling on a flyer.
Okay.
As an English language learner, she has a team. So if I'm doing the community outreach, is it more important that I'm touching these parents, that I'm making sure that they get what they need, or that I adequately punctuate on a flyer? There's 4 more people on my team. And what was happening is if somebody on her team produced a flyer and they made a mistake, she would point it out and they would correct it. But her, if she made a mistake, they would take it and stash it and wait to use it against her. You know, that's how I feel. So she was, they called her in one day and they said, you know, we're going to non-renew your position. So it's essentially a termination, but they're non-renewing. That means they're not going to renew your contract. Oh, but, you know, we'll give you this lesser job. You have to 2:00 to decide. Who's going to do that? So she decided to take her pride and leave because she did an excellent job. You know, the whole community was sitting there screaming, please keep her. And the school district fails to listen to the community again. It's just a repeating cycle. And then there were some murmurs about her not servicing the Hispanic community. None of her events were Haitian-only events, right? She did a prom dress drive. That was everybody. You know, everything she does includes everybody. As a matter of fact, 2 of the parents that spoke were Hispanic. But I have to remember that until Mary Lynn came along, until I went on the board, things only went out in Spanish and English. They did not care about the Haitian community. Right. So now, 1 year into a Haitian community engagement person's tenure, you're saying she doesn't engage the Spanish community. So they're clearly showing you what population's important to them. I was very angry that night. So I told them, you know, my daycare has been running for 11 years. On average, I send 10 kids to the district. So for my count, that was like 110 kids, right? In the 11 years. In a district that has a little over 1,000 kids, I'm responsible for 10% of their population. Me alone. My program alone. And I'm like, you guys think you're losing kids now? Keep treating the Haitian community like it doesn't matter. See what happens. So that's, I mean, a lot of people came up and spoke, kids were crying, but nobody, they weren't, the board attempted, the board did vote to keep the positions, right? But as a superintendent, he can do what he wants. So they did vote to keep several positions, but as I understand it, Dr. Howard's position, who's the special service director, and the director of security has lost his job in a district where we're getting kids stabbed. What happened is the board voted to keep them. However, because there was no line for them on the budget, the board voted down the budget, but the state monitor overturned it and voted the budget in. So in doing so, she eliminated those 2 positions, unless somebody can find funding for them.
So it was a budget. Somebody l'argent que t'as pris là, please.
Well, you know, the school has had a lot of cuts, right? I think at some point we were like $80 million. Now we're about to half of that, where we were paying $40 something thousand per child to educate. Now we're down to like 31,000. So the state had something called a Fair Funding Act. Right, the Fair Funding Act said that the city has to be responsible for educating its kids. For a long time, we had, what do you call that? What is the district? The districts that have low graduation rates.
Abbott.
We were Abbott, and then they changed Abbott, but we had Abbott money coming in. We had a lot of money, so the city did not have to contribute where other cities are contributing 50, 60, 70% of the school budget. Our city at some point was only contributing 7%. Now it has come up, There was Sweeney, who was the House president, had made something called the S2 bill. We talked about that several times on this broadcast, where it said there was a formula that if the city had a certain amount of houses, then a certain amount of, not houses, but a certain amount of they calculated how much the property was worth. So that was how much you had to contribute towards the school district. There was a little pushback, right? And what happens is they cite the poor performance of the district. But you have places like Long Branch that was contributing something like 60, 70%. Asbury at some point was contributing 7%. They were not contributing what they needed to. And because we had all these pilots, and granted, it's not the fault of the current administration. John Moore didn't do it. Amy Quinn didn't do it, but it was done, right? You have all these pilots, they're building these apartments and they have tax exemptions, right? They have 10 years on city tax, 30 years on school tax that they don't have to pay. We're talking about these $5 million, $1 million condos. They don't have to contribute to the school district.
Some of them are $8 million.
Yeah, they don't have to contribute to the school district. As a matter of fact, it's how
For
they
30
pitch it.
years.
For 30 years. 30 years, right? But that formula kind of included them. So although they're not paying, they're kind of included in the formula. So poor you, with your $200,000 house, you got to take a bigger piece of the pie to pay. So that's some of what I feel like the school district is going to be starved out. You have several charter schools. You have College Achieve, right? That's up there at Holy Innocents now. They're around the corner. They have a place on First Baptist, Second Baptist over there. I don't think they're using that space right now, but they're expanding. And as they expand, they take the kids out of the school district, but the school district still has to pay for those children. And I think sometimes they pitch that it's private school. It's not private school. And if you look at their scores are on par with Asbury. You're not sending your kid to a better school. It's just smaller, you know? So they pitch that it's private. It's not private, and they're not very successful. But they're taking our kids. So we have College Achieve, you have Hope Academy, you have Academy Charter, you have Sisters Academy. So there's many sources that our kids are going to. I'm not saying that those schools are better or worse. I'm just saying that Asbury is a very small pie. And when you have several people cutting out of that pie, it shrinks the school district.
So, what is Maryland's next step now?
I think she's going to take the summer to probably think. I think she's done a great job. So there are people that are looking at her. Like, people have seen what she's done. So she has offers. You know what I mean? Like, she's not groveling for a job because she did her job well. But she was so of course I can't speak firsthand. Like, I wasn't there when stuff was happening to her. But during the course of the year, she's telling me stuff, and it seems like they nitpicked at her. You know, they nitpicked at her. She did the job by herself without a supervisor before. And then all of a sudden, a supervisor comes and she's doing everything wrong. She was staff member of the year last year.
Oh.
But all of a sudden, 12 months later, new supervisor, she has to be fired. Well, non-renewed, you know? So I was very upset. You know, many of us were very upset. I think she engages the community. She does what can't be trained. Writing and all that stuff can be trained, you know? And what are we telling our kids we have about a 70% English learning community, right? Between the Spanish community and the Haitian community. And you're firing somebody for a misspelled word on a flyer. What are you telling your kids? Don't mess up at all, because we're going to get rid of you. You know?
Anyway, je souhaite Marilyn good luck. Je souhaite elle vienne émission avec nous un jour tout. Parce que sans pile bagage nous devons calculer et n'a dit 2-3 amis, 2-3 parents qui étaient déplacés à aller dans la réunion, ça n'a dit merci.
Very much so.
Et nous pensons que nous t'es qu'à plus toujours. Par contre, combien de temps nous t'es qu'à plus toujours? prochaine fois, c'est ça, oui. C'est déconnexion ça qui gagne dans la communauté, ya. Entre nous et institutions, yo, entre nous à l'église, yo, l'école, yo, professeurs haïtiens dans l'école là. Moi, pense que son bas m'a plaint pour lui longtemps, t'as supposé un côté commun, côté tout haïtien, qui a frappé porte relais et les gros problèmes comme ça, qui a move toute communauté.
Yeah, well, additionally, they weren't the only two on the agenda. There was something like 20 plus employees either getting fired or getting wage withholdings. That's what he's doing now. If he doesn't like what you're doing, he holds your wages or he holds your raises. It was like a bunch of people on there.
Well, then again, when you see nèg son manager lié, il a un problème budget.
If I be just there's personal interaction, Vila, because there's people that have worked there for tens of years, and they didn't even know they were getting demoted or they were getting non-renewed until they saw their self on the list. And then what he did is, instead of putting their names, he put their employee numbers and was upset because they figured out it was them. Like, so if you're doing what's right, you don't have to sneak around and do it. You call me in and you say, listen, your performance is terrible, this, and this. Like, even the letter that Mary got, it was very poor job performance amongst other things. It was very vague. Very vague. You know, because when you do that now, even if I fight this side, you can bring up these other things because you never really listed what I was doing wrong.
So, but Cassandra's job got saved. Yeah.
Cassandra's job got saved, which is a blessing for the parents, because if you have a special needs child, you need somebody that's going to be able to speak to you in your language. You're already going to be upset. You're already going to be sensitive. Your English is not that great, and then now you're not even understanding what's going on because they gotta go and pull a teacher from a classroom who might not be like clinical in terms of like being able to explain the exact language for you, and you just have to deal with it, you know.
So you see, this is one of the reasons why you can't show up only when something is wrong. Only when something is affecting you, because right now it's too late to do anything about the Haitian American employees who were terminated, unfairly terminated, targeted and terminated. You have to be there all the time. People in government, if they know you're only going to come once in a while when something affects you that goes wrong, they're going to give you 5 minutes. They're going to be polite.
They're not listening
Just
to it.
because
They're not receiving what you're saying.
does not mean they care.
No.
They will be nice to you. They'll shake your hands, but they know in 5 minutes you're going to be gone and you're not going to be back again for 5 years. So this is why you need to go to every meeting. There are so many churches here. There are churches. There's more than one church that has hundreds of Haitian members. How many of those people how many churches make sure they send representatives each and every single month to the Board of Education meetings?
And I think you're right. I think each church should have at least 1 or 2 representatives that come back to the church to give them information. You know, like, we have to be autonomous. Like, we have to be responsible for ourselves.
That's right.
Well, bagay sa yo n'a prêché depuis longtemps. Et pas jamais gon action qui prend. Et hope moi, peut-être avant m'aller moi même sous ça pour moi, nouvelle génération take over things and do it differently. C'est ça le fait m'cap hope parce que li fin yon réalité et grand monde qui sont Haïti a aller chita dans meeting ou te mettre dit ça 20 000 fois pas comprendre ni. Il pas comprendre, il pas comprendre encore juste un petit trouver un problème qu'on y a la cherche un monde à aider le compte ça qui passé. Tu comprends?
Et non seulement ça, et pas nous avons tendance pour nous faire un seul monde vinn bourrique.
Yeah, they're responsible for everything.
Bon travail.
Yeah, they're responsible for they're going to the board meeting, they're doing this, they're doing that. Like, it's
one person
difficult.
can't do it.
Let me tell you something.
Parce que c'est découragé, mon a découragé.
Even organisation haïtienne, even organisation commencer nous fait chat organisation tout bail bien chita gen 9 monde qui membre si rien, but at the end of the day c'est un seul monde qui a carry ba la sous doli pour faire tout ça qu'il pour faire. Et puis devant, si on bail mal passé, c'est monde ça tout le monde a calonné.
But when it's time to take pictures, when it's time to say, I'm vice president, I'm vice president.
Exactly.
Like, it's,
Exactly.
we have to take, that's why so many other communities have come and passed us, right? They get things done the way they want them done because they're moving as one solid block, right? You piss one off, that's 500 people that's not going to vote for you. You know, us, like when I was campaigning, I go to Haitian people and talk about no.
Dans quelle église vous marchez?
Dans quelle église
Dans
vous
quelle
marchez?
vous marchez? Oh, au méthodiste, moi-même c'est Baptiste.
Like, what is that? And there's churches that I've donated food to, and they've said, "Oh, she only comes when she's running." I can't belong to every church. Like, what do you want me to do? But I still represent the Haitian community. I still fight for the Haitian community.
Bon, moi son bataille qui perdu. Dans ce style ça.
Well, I've moved to Neptune. I have.
You have?
I am now a Neptune resident.
Ah ben, ma bon secret. Et mon yo l'église j'ai pas prétendre ça non?
Oh, il y a un petit. Oh, nous perdu.
90% membres de l'église boy ici, mon petit yo, il va on a joué pas.
Yeah, Asbury's too expensive now.
90%. Peut-être deux ou trois monde qui est dans building whatever.
But
Mais 90%.
do you also know that the school district is last of all school districts in New Jersey? You knew that, right? We are dead last now. In math and reading, yeah. Dead last. Dead last. We've hovered around it before where we might be second to last, third to last. We made it. We made last place.
Anyway, Karine, Sheila, moi bien content ouais nous, mais toute audience moi viré do y aller. Parce que
Oh my God.
Yo pas émission parler, parler.
Okay.
Yo tout viré do quitter. M'pa même gon grain qui là.
Oh my Jesus. See, this is exactly what we're talking about. You're talking about serious things that is affecting people.
Yo couri aller.
Yo tout aller. Et pas ça que
All right. Well, listen to the music as the kids fail out of school. Have fun.
Alors, nous allons parler de seulement monde qui sur internet, tu pas monde qui sur radio, nous pas non mais ça tout le monde yo là. Mais seul bagage monde Facebook là, yo tout aller.
On sait ça faire. Et même la vie, pas